Good evening and welcome to ATV News. I'm Charity Pepazani. Here are your top stories this Friday. Zimbabwe and South Africa have agreed to scrap visa requirements after they suspended the restrictions on travelers between the two countries 2 years ago. Foreign Affairs ministers from the two countries have now signed a memorandum of understanding to scrap the requirements. The visas have been replaced by a 90-day visitor's permit. South African Foreign Affairs Minister Maitinkoma Mashebane said that this would make it easy for citizens to cross mutual borders. The scrapping of visas is a part of regional integration effects in the South African development community. There are more than 3 million Zimbabweans living in South Africa. Many entered the country illegally. South Africa resumed deportation of illegal immigrants this year after suspending the exercise in 2009. Zimbabwe Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai has finally reached an out-of-court settlement with his wife, Locadia Karimatenga. The fee is believed to be somewhere between $200,000 and $500,000 US. The deal means that Ms. Locadia will no longer be demanding monthly maintenance installments. Her lawyer, Mr. Jonathan Maukenga, confirmed that a deal has been reached but refused to disclose the amount. The Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission has revealed that a number of cabinet ministers are being investigated for corruption. Among these are high-ranking officials, including cabinet ministers and members of parliament. The chairman for the ZACC, Mr. Danford Chirindo, has warned that those found guilty will be dealt with severely. Mr. Chirindo spoke at the launch of the ZACC website, saying that no one was untouchable. Mr. Chirindo said there are no sacred cows and that no one is immune to investigation. In Zambia, a 95-year-old woman who was brutally murdered earlier this week has been named. Lukimbi Balaka of Mukonchi was found with 3 deep cuts on her head, having had been dumped in a bush. Her grandson was also severely injured in the attack. The woman has been attacked previously and police confirmed that perpetrators have fled Mukonchi. In a bizarre story from Zimbabwe, a Mazivonga police station was flooded with hundreds of residents as they tried to catch a glimpse of an adulterous couple who were apparently stuck together. The couple were having sex when they supposedly got stuck in a suspected case of runyoka. Runyoka is defined as an illness that results from having sex with a married woman brought on by an African herb. The potion is administered without the knowledge of the woman. Once in effect, it means that the woman cannot be separated from whoever she is having sex with, and the pair could develop a strange illness in the process. The incident could not be confirmed by Police Inspector Peter Zanero. He said that the police had heard that a man and a woman had been stuck together because of runyoka, but he did not have details of what exactly transpired. In entertainment today, Zambian celebrity R&B singer Mampi will be Malawi's capital city Lilongwe this weekend. The Queen Diva, who represented Zambia during 2012 Big Brother Africa, has become a favorite among Malawian women with a hit song Walilo Welela. Mampi will perform in the capital city as well as Blantyre. As you know, at ATV, we're always promoting up-and-coming musicians, and today we're talking to Rhyme Assasin.
My name is Chiona Monera, and my artist name is Rhyme Assasin, and I do hip-hop in Shona in English. Yeah, I've just got Zima Male Artist of the Year 2012, and I'm glad to have the award.
It's
been hard. It still is hard, but you just gotta keep pushing until you make it. I'd just like to say, if they manage to identify any good upcoming artists to help them in many ways, give them information on how to record and where to send their music so that they can be played on radio and coming up on TV. Yeah, I think most of my fans are from Zimbabwe, because I've been in Zimbabwe for like 3 months and I've been promoting my music, and I got a good reception from Zimbabwe, but most of my fans are from Zimbabwe. Ndadichko ka ndokuchicha nema flow ndadichko ka ndokuchicha nema rhyme ndokukoro mora ribora ngoma ndatiwa pora pora chko ka ndobachicha nema flow ndadichko ka ndobachicha nema panga ndokukoro mora ribora ngoma ndatiwa pora pora ai watashika tisuka madhara abotanga kuuchira sepasvika presidenti chibanzi chakawanda sendrama yachi yangu amagero wachitamba pantanga kurira namba.
With news of another big weekend in the English Premier League, here's Liam and Michael.
Thank you, Charity. And it seems almost every weekend I'm saying there's a big round of games in the Premier League, but this weekend is no different. We've got loads of important matches to talk about, including a rather special game tomorrow lunchtime that could have real implications for myself or my colleague Mr Mambo here, but more on that later. We'll start with Chelsea, and as we all know, they've had a very eventful week. They lost 3-2 in the league last week to Manchester United in a game that was shrouded in controversy, but they exacted their revenge midweek with a 5-4 win. That's a lot of goals conceded, but it's also a lot of goals scored. Now they travel to a Swansea City side who are starting to improve. They won in the Capital One Cup against Liverpool 3-1 in midweek, and that should give them some real confidence. Personally, I think Chelsea have got too many good players, and they're going to edge this one 2-1 in my opinion. Michael, Chelsea have had quite a week, a lot of goals. Are they going to score a lot more here?
Well, they will definitely score. They've been playing more fluent football, and definitely their front line will create more chances. But Swansea in particular has been playing well, but it's just that they haven't been getting the wins. Nonetheless, they have been scoring and creating those opportunities. So it may be more of a 3-2.
3-2?
Yeah.
But of course, as I mentioned, Swansea beat Liverpool with their former manager, Brendan Rodgers, 3-1 in the Cup. How much confidence will that give them now?
Well, that would be a major boost for them, but more importantly, Chelsea also won 5-4 against United, and they scored like in the last minute of injury time. So both teams are on a high, and it will genuinely be an interesting match.
Now, Chelsea had their Premier League lead cut to just 1 point last weekend. However, we view the game unfair, fair. The pressure is going to build on them with the Manchester team just 1 point behind them, isn't it?
The pressure will build, but when you lose a game in that manner, it gives you more drive to succeed. And in fact, odds are on that Chelsea will win the league this season.
So, early shout there from Mr Mambo. He's got Chelsea to win the league already. One thing we're both agreed on is a Chelsea win at Swansea. Mike's got it 3-2, I've got it 2-1. Now, the next game we're going to be looking at is champions Manchester City, who are travelling away to West Ham. Now, last weekend, West Ham, who after a good start in the league, were comprehensively beaten by Wigan. City scraped a 1-0 win, but they're not looking at their best, but they are getting the wins as we talk about. Now, we say this almost every week, Mike. They did it again last week. They got away with playing badly, won again. Is it time that they started putting on performances rather than just results?
I think that they have some serious issues in the background. If you notice most of the comments coming out, different players disagreeing with the systems that the manager may be using, and more or less like it's high time some teams started taking points off them, and West Ham may be that team.
So you've thrown that out there. Does that mean that you think that they could get a positive result here?
I'm calling it a draw, 1-1.
1-1. Myself personally, I think the opposite. I think City might finally start putting a bit of a performance on that all their millions are paid for. So I'm going to say 2-0 to City. Now the next game, it's quite a big game on Sunday, this one. It's Liverpool hosting Newcastle United. As we mentioned there, Liverpool were well beaten in the Capital One Cup against Swansea 3-1. But before that, they'd started to get a few results together, and Brendan Rodgers was starting to look like his football was having an impact at Liverpool. Newcastle, well, they carry on with their good form, and they've got players Demba Ba and Cisse who are starting to score goals. So, Michael, how do you see this one going?
Well, I see it as a 2-2. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2.
And why is that? Do you think both teams are clearly going to score, you think?
Yeah, both teams are going to score, but Liverpool, the only player most likely to score for them is Suarez. Maybe Gerrard gets the odd goal here and there, but that's their main source of supply. Whereas with Newcastle, they have Demba Ba and Cisse. So it's going to be a closely contested match.
I was going to ask you about Cisse because we've mentioned Demba Ba has had a good start to the season. Cisse got the winning goal against West Brom, although for anyone who saw it, actually deflected off his side. But still, it's so important to get him scoring again, isn't it, for Newcastle?
Yeah, with strikers, usually when they come into a different league, it takes them time to adjust. But since he got off in a flyer, people expect he will immediately reproduce those goals. Maybe it's just a matter of like the opportunities that he got then, or maybe defenders are more aware of his abilities and therefore will mark him tighter.
Now you mentioned Luis Suarez there, we should probably mention in the last game that Liverpool played in the league, the 2-2 draw with Everton, he played very well, scored 2 goals and very unfortunately had a goal unfairly ruled out for offside. That would have won them the game. Do you think they'll be angry about that? Will that result in a positive performance, or will they be frustrated?
They may be frustrated, but Liverpool is a different animal nowadays. You don't know which Liverpool is going to turn up. That's the thing. Maybe it's going to be a dull team performance. With Liverpool, usually it takes them 1 or 2 players for them to spark. And if Suarez has a day off, it means the whole team suffers.
Okay, so we've got your prediction at 2-2. Personally, I think Newcastle are just going to have too much with their strike force, and I think they're going to edge it 2-1. We'll see how that one goes. So it's that time of the week, it's game of the week, and is there a bigger one in the ATV office than Liam's Manchester United, Michael's Arsenal? It's chief bragging rights around the ATV office. Now we should probably mention that in midweek, both teams had fairly contrasting fortunes. Both were involved in big scoring games, but United ended up on the losing side 5-4 at Chelsea. And in one of what can only be described the game of the season, Arsenal came from 4-0 down against Reading to win 7-5. Now, just a quick word on that, Michael.
Yeah.
That must have been a bit of a tough one on their heart.
It was. I was at a friend's place watching the match, having some beers, and when it was 4-0, for me the team was practically dead and buried. And for them to later win the match in that manner, well, that's an epic thing to do.
Because we've spoken before about where Arsenal have got in bad situations and they sort of just fall down. Is this a bit of character that you were finally wanting to see from your team?
Well, it is a bit of character. If you look at the players who performed really well, you've got Walcott, who's got something to prove to the manager and shouting to get that 100,000. Pay the boy 100,000 and let's get the football on.
Because of course he got the hat-trick in midweek. He's a very valuable player for your Walcott, isn't he?
Not only that, but if you look at like last season when they played Chelsea as well, he's one of the players who actually played with their hearts out. And when they went to United before, I think when they lost 8-2, he played really well. And we had Van Persie in that team who didn't have a particularly good game with his standards. So sometimes you need players who love the club and who give their all for the club.
Well, it's interesting that you hint at Van Persie there. There's so many other storylines to this game, so much going on. And of course Robin Van Persie is right at the centre of things. This is his first game since he made that cross the divide from Arsenal to Manchester United. Not many players have done that before, and Wenger has come out today and said that he should be welcomed by the Arsenal fans, but I can't see that happening, can you?
It's hard in football in terms for fans because they've lost their icon, their top player to a rival. But people have to understand, I mean, Arsenal is a business, United is all about football, it's about winning trophies. And as a player, you don't get into football as a business, you get in there to win. Van Persie wanted to win. If Arsenal cannot offer him that chance to win, he's fairly in his own rights to go and win something.
And he's had a great start to the season. 7 goals already for United. Wonder if he's going to score again in this game. Now, we always want to know what you think on Facebook. See what your predictions are. We've got some interesting ones here today. Edmore Eddie says definitely 3-1 to Arsenal, which I know would please Mr. Mambo very much. But Smarty James has said Man United 5-0 to win, and he's put after it. He's 100% confident of that result. So I wish we all had the confidence of Smarty. But what about your own prediction, Michael? It's a difficult one.
Well, it is a difficult one. I like Arsenal a lot, but history has it, looking at the previous matches that these teams have played at Old Trafford, Arsenal most of the times have come out on the losing end. So,
what do you think then? Go on, can you say it?
Well, I can't. Well, I'm looking at, I'm hoping Arsenal win, but I know deep down it may not turn out that way.
And I think I completely agree with Mr. Mambo. The fact that this is at Old Trafford and history is very much on the United side, I'm going to say 3-1. Now, finally, the final side note to this one is we've had an agreement, me and Michael here, that whoever team loses on Monday, when we do the wrap-up for the Premier League, has to wear this rather delightful Hawaiian shirt. So one of us won't be in our fine suits, they'll be wearing this shirt and probably with a very sad face. Are you looking forward to wearing that on Monday, Michael?
It's actually a nice shirt with my team's colours, you see. I think it will suit me fine, but unfortunately, Monday, you're going to have to wear this.
Oh, it's fighting talk from Mr. Mambo. So you've got to tune in on Monday to find out who is wearing the shirt. So for now, it's bye from Michael, and it's bye from me. Oh.
Today's photo of the day is awarded to Kasim Asa, who looks to be enjoying a good meal. Why not send us your photos at our ATV Facebook page and you could appear on the big screen. Thank you for watching ATV News and have a pleasant weekend.